What's your biggest challenge with using the power of storytelling in business? Lawyers have been using stories for hundreds, if not thousands of years to make their point in front of juries and judges. And what I've noticed over the last 5 to 7 years on social media, on the digital platforms, is storytelling. The buzz term storytelling has become a big deal, and it should be. One of my favorite techniques for storytelling in trial is the tap and transport technique. And this technique was brought to my attention by the 1999 world champion of public speaking, Craig Valentine. Follow Craig on social. And with tap and transport, you take your audience by the hand back into time so that they're standing next to you, watching what happens, smelling what happens, hearing what happens. It's very effective. But when it comes to telling good stories in business to make your point to close a deal, there's a mistake that a lot of people make, and that's what I want to cover during today's Snapchat story. And what that mistake is that people will fail to include the problem, the issue, the elephant in the room in their presentation of the story. What I mean by that is, in trial, if I'm not the first attorney to bring up in front of my jury a problem or issue and talk about it, then it looks like I might be hiding something. What I found to be very, very effective, and this will work for you too, is that when you have a problem, when you have an issue, when you have a concern that needs to be talked about, this is what you do. Incorporate and talk about that problem, that concern, that issue in the first 1/3 of your story presentation, the first 1/3. So in court, if I have a 20-minute opening statement, I'll bring up the issue, I'll bring up the problem within the first 10 minutes. I'll use the first couple of minutes to tap and transport my jury back into time and grab their attention. I'll use the next couple of minutes to develop rapport and talk about the case, and then in that last first 1/3 segment, that's where I'll address the problem during that period of time. This allows me to build trust and rapport with my jury, and also it allows me in the last 2/3 of my presentation to talk about the case and persuade the jury as to what they should do. And I know you can do the same thing. When making your presentation, your sales pitch through story, share the problem, share the concern in the first 1/3. Look, if I don't bring up the problem in my case and I sit down after my opening statement, opposing counsel is going to stand up and say, what Mr. Jackson didn't tell you, and then it looks like I'm hiding something. The same concept applies to you. If you don't bring up a problem, your competitor is going to be the first to bring up the problem, and then your potential customer is going to wonder why you didn't. So in summary, use the power of story in business when making your presentations. Address the concerns, address the issues, address the problems in the first 1/3 of your presentation. If you guys have any questions, comments, tips, or additional approaches on this topic, please share them with me at streaming.lawyer. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks, guys, and make today a masterpiece.